It's not the cow, it's the how. Hey, I'm Josh. I'm a South African filmmaker and photographer, and welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. If you are new here, today I'm diving into a book that I've read a few times, and I've come back to it again more recently because I'm embarking on this journey of not only self-discovery but collective discovery. This journey entails me going to regenerative farms around South Africa, and the idea for me is to film the farms, film the people, film the stories, and kind of take you, if you are listening to this and if you're willing, take you on this journey with me, because the thing that I've realized is the more I think I know, the more I don't really know what it actually takes to farm regeneratively and how difficult and how intricate it actually is. To me, there's a larger theme within this whole movement, which is the spiritual side as well. I really believe that, that's a big word, believe. I really believe that there is this fundamental vibrational connection that the custodians have with the land and the animals. And I believe that that vibration and energy and love gets transferred into the food itself, and I can feel it. I really can. It's so difficult for me now, maybe because I'm so invested in this, it's so difficult for me now to eat Woolworths chicken or mince or Pick and Pay. And here's the thing, it's not even like this virtue. It is literally, for me, it is literally like if you are a connoisseur of coffee and you've had an amazing flat white or espresso, it's very hard to walk into a coffee shop and see the barista not really giving a fuck about the extraction time or the tampering. And you know what a good cup of coffee tastes like, and you've experienced it. And it's very hard to turn away from the fact that these guys actually don't give a fuck about your coffee and the extraction times and the little intricate nature of like how intricate an espresso can be. The same is said for like meat, and food in general. Like I'm not gonna just put this on meat, even though this book is primarily about beef, the sacred cow. For me, it's an energetic exchange. It's like what you put in is what you get out, and having this symbiotic relationship with the land is what I want this journey to be about. And I'm coming from a place of ignorance. I'm coming from a place of like I don't really know better than you. You probably know way more than me, but I want to go on that journey, and I want to allow this journey to unravel in the most organic fashion possible. It's a big task. It's completely self-funded at this stage. So yeah, Patagonia, Cape Town, if you're ever listening, come my way. No, it's completely self-funded. It's a deep fire that's burning within me. And I mean, the regenerative movement is big now. You get the Paul Saladinos of the world. I won't go down that rabbit hole now, but the regenerative movement is big. It's gaining traction, but it's definitely not mainstream. I recently spoke to Farmer Angus about this, and he was just saying that like it needs to go mainstream, like for big change to happen, and we're just not at that stage. The fundamental thing that's driving me is like our food system is so broken. If you walk into a supermarket, I'm just using Woolies as an example, Woolworths here in South Africa. If you walk into a grocery store and everything is so perfectly packaged and so perfectly marketed, and they're spending millions of rands on marketing and packaging and stuff, that is not the reality of the everyday farmer. That is not the reality of the crops and the land and stuff. We are going through mass extinction of topsoil and carbon, and the way we're farming now is very unsustainable, not only for the land but the communities. So this is what I'm saying about regenerative farming. It's not just about the food and the virtue of like I'm eating better meats and organic meats. It should nourish all. It should nourish the custodian. It should nourish the land. It should nourish the animals. It should nourish the communities. And it should nourish the spirit. It should be an all-encompassing act. And in fact, everything in your life should be all-encompassing. It should nourish all. Otherwise, it's not worth doing. This book was written by Rodgers and Robb, and I think it's one of the few books I can really riff on because I just have a deep reverence for this topic. And Diana Rodgers, she has done amazing work. Go check her out. Robb, amazing guy. He was big into the paleo movement a long, long time ago. Not going to go too much into their personal backgrounds, but they wrote this book a while ago. So yeah, I'm rereading it now to embed my subconscious with the container of the sacred acts and this needing now more than ever to be a voice in the space. And it's been very interesting to reread it. The first thing I want to say is that your body needs protein, and there's a quote here from the book. Your body needs protein, and if you don't get enough through the diet, your body will start breaking down your muscles and other tissues in order to get it. This leads to muscle wasting and weakness. Immune function decreases because protein is required for antibodies. This is just a fundamental fact about the human body. It needs protein, but I think what's interesting is how quickly we kind of assume that the plant-based proteins are as bioavailable as animal-based proteins. I just from a very logical standpoint, I just firstly want to say that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not an expert, and I'll never pretend to be one. There's very few people that I've seen in life. There are people, like I know one or two in particular, but there's very few people that can literally just build massive amounts of muscle and thrive on a completely plant-based diet. Majority are just the bioavailability of protein in plants. You would have to supplement quite a bit. And then that goes into the whole thing of like, now you are supporting this psyopted supplement industry that has clearly been taken over by big food now. Like they've realized that people aren't really fucking with the whole processed garbage. So let's like shift our efforts towards supplements, which is still processed shit. Your protein is required for so much, from muscle mass to immune function to many other things. And I've found that if I don't eat protein, like I get anxious, hangry, tired, but mostly that insatiable, like it's like such a deep-seated thing. Everything just seems to function better. And if I eat protein at a high level, especially, I think the optimal range is like 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. So I weigh just under 70 kgs. So that's, yeah, it's like just under 140 grams, sorry, of protein, which is a lot. If you do the maths and you try and figure out, like most people don't eat enough protein. I want to just touch on this idea that I was always told as a kid, oh, moderation is everything. Like, yeah, just everything in moderation. As long as you're doing things in moderation. Imagine telling the super overweight, unhappy, depressed little kid that just really wasn't happening in life. Just do moderation. You know, what does that do to a kid? Because for me, moderation never worked, for the most part, it hasn't worked. Because a lot of the foods that we eat today, forget about foods, social media, everything is designed by billionaire scientists who are so smart and they know how to grab you. So it's not your fault. So moderation is like out of the table when it comes to a lot of things, especially food. And there's a quote from the book. They say, "Funny how we justify things, isn't it? Would you ever ask an alcoholic how much beer was a moderate amount? Yes, moderation might work for a few people, but the failure rate that occurs from this approach is monumental and unsustainable." This is my fact. You wouldn't go to an alcoholic and just say, just have a small amount of beer, because that little taste of beer will trigger them to go and have 12 cases of beer. Like, the moderation question is out of it there. So why do we separate things? Again, why do we isolate things? Why do we assume that food is any different from any addictive substance or behavior? It's not. And protein is one of the best ways to moderate your moderation. Like when you wake up, I tell people, like, again, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not an expert, but when I've told people, don't change anything else in your life or your diet, just wake up and like get like 30 grams of protein. Like literally just wake up, eat a couple of eggs, substitute your usual like toast and cereal for eggs and a high protein breakfast like Greek yogurt, whatever. Like just get that protein in the morning. And if you go AWOL the rest of the day, whatever, like just doing that will make you feel so much better. And then like slowly but surely, like the cogs, the you remember that espresso analogy, and you will start to realize, hey, I actually feel better on this. Like, let me continue to do it. And it's obviously totally up to you. This is a lot of it's subjective, but I believe it's collective, because what is subjective is translated through the ether, and what you're experiencing is not yours alone. It definitely isn't. So yes, it's subjective, but this is definitely something I think has helped a lot of people. Another big theme in the book is like there is no life without death, and this book resacralizes our relationship with life and death. And again, this is just coming down to separating feedlot factory farming, which I've got no time for. That is a product of our insanely sick society. And I was just on the point of the documentary, the series that I'm creating. I was going through the first like pre-interview I did with Farmer Angus, and he spoke about how the cows will be like traditional feedlot cows will be fed and grown and slaughtered, and they will be on your plate in 10 months. That is a baby cow. That's really not cool. I don't think it's ethical. There's no respect there for the fact that this sacred, nourishing animal is doing so much for us, our communities, our lives, our health, our planet, and we treat it like that. 10 months. Whereas a grass-fed cow that is fed solely on grass, it can take up to 2 to 3 years for that cow to be ready to be slaughtered. That's a big difference. It's also a big difference in taste, vibration, energy, love. That, yeah. So I just wanted to just say that is the extreme. Like anything that we do in life now, like that is the reality. But there is the other side. There is the Anguses of the world. There is the Steph and Robb from Foldria Chicken. There's Batty Kutsia from Lowlands Farms. These are all the guys that I plan on meeting and doing cool stuff with. But when you are a farmer and you're doing these things, there is deep reverence for the land and the animals. And I love watching Batty Kutsia. His Instagram handle is bio Batty. Small things, like he posts these stories about this like specific flower blooming on the farm, and like the joy and the love and the reverence for the land, and him showing me that it gives me joy. I don't sometimes know what he's specifically talking about. It's like very esoteric to the sustainable regenerative farming community, but I get joy in seeing his joy. I get joy in seeing his reverence for the land and the community. And this is the transferable nature of joy and respect. I think all these guys have a deep respect for the life, the fact that there is no life without death. It is one and the same. And whether you care about this or not, it's going to continue to happen naturally. Endings and beginnings, They quote Joel Salatin in the book, and Joel Salatin was actually one of Angus's like heroes and mentors. Like Angus, when I sat down with him, he said to me, what inspired him to do what he's doing is that he read some of Joel's work, and he said to his wife, I want to be like Joel. And Joel wrote in the book, everything in life eats and is eaten. If you don't believe me, go lie down naked in a flower bed for 3 days and see what happens. Life can't be possible without death. The opposite of death is not life. Both must happen. This is what makes life so precious. Humans can kill in a sacred, humane way. No other animal can do this. This is the fundamental existential message of the book, that there really is no life without death, and these sacred animals, these sacred cows, do so much for us. And I think instead of putting insanely unreachable, abolishing laws for farms and the people and the custodians and the indigenous people that have been doing this for so long, and like isolating this one thing, especially when I was living here, like meat as the villain. Like, why not look at it as this act of respect? Like there is this, like this thing we call death. It's coming for everything. It's coming for you. It's coming for me. And I think when we embrace the memento mori, like the Stoics say, like, remember you must die, and you have a comfortable kind of understanding for the fact that this is the fact that endings and beginnings happen all the time. When you embrace that, I think you feel more comfortable to live a life of meaning and live a life that goes beyond just not giving a fuck. Realizing that it's so precious and precarious and amazing, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way, because that's what makes life so special, is because there is that intense mystery just waiting around the corner, and you're like, oh, okay, it's always there in the back of your head. Another concept in the book that they touch on is there's many, and they if you look at the book, I don't have my Kindle on me now, but like they ask questions in a lot of the chapters headings, like there's questions. They spoke about, because the big thing is, like, people say, oh, we don't have the land, we just don't have the land to sustain enough agriculture to feed the 8 billion, or how many people we have on our earth these days. And they've done the maths, and they've shown that's just false. In fact, cows, as sacred and beautiful as they are one of the few animals that can graze in the most arid, like unfarmable areas in the world. So a lot of the people that have done these stats and stuff have isolated these perfectly ripe farms that are only adjusted for like monocropping, but cows can transcend a lot of those arable lands and go to places where you can't fucking monocrop, and that is the issue. But not only that, like, one cow bought can feed literally a whole family for like 6 months. That is the most insane return on investment you could ever get. That's how beautiful these creatures are. Not to mention they give us soap, milk, clothes. The list goes on. It gets me every time, and I love spending time with them, and they've just got this presence about them. Just deep love and respect for these beautiful animals that do so much for us. Alas, I digress. So they talk about the dangers of seed oils, and this is a big one for health. If you, again, like I spoke about the changing your usual breakfast for like a high protein breakfast, I think avoiding seed oils as much as possible is a great idea for your health, especially in the home. I understand. I say this to, like, I understand when you go out, you can't be perfect, and you don't want to be a bubble boy where you're afraid to enjoy yourself and with your friends and stuff. But like, if you are cooking in canola oil and vegetable oil and in your home, and sunflower oil in your home, that's just not ideal. Like, rather stick to the stuff that we've been using for thousands of years, which is animal fat. Beyond that, animal fat. Ideally, don't cook in olive oil in high temperatures. It denatures the oil, so it's very similar to a seed oil in that sense. But like coconut oil. But the best thing is just grass-fed, grass-finished butter, or tallow. Tallow is probably the best to cook in at high temperatures. Diana and Robb quote, "All living creatures need a way to defend themselves against being killed or eaten so that they can spread their genes onto the next generation. Unlike animals, plants are unable to run away. They need another way to protect themselves from insects and other animals that consume them. Therefore, they have created other types of defenses in order to attempt to produce offspring. While many plants are downright poisonous to humans, others will do their best to use you as a vehicle to spread their seeds, sending out chemical defenses while they pass through your intestines." Again, nothing in nature is not trying to defend itself. And this is what they're saying, is that unlike animals which have horns and teeth and legs to run away from, plants don't have those. They need a defense. And a lot of their defenses, it takes place in chemical warfare. So when you eat a plant, it it has these chemical toxins that bind to important minerals in your stomach like magnesium and calcium, and they can make you feel like shit, but they can also make you feel good. I willingly admit now more than ever that my relationship with plants has shifted. I used to be very like pro carnivore in that whole realm, and over the years I've started to understand the plants a bit better, and I've started to see them really as medicine. So these defenses can be a problem, but they can also be a kind of way. This is what like they can also be a way to make you more resilient. Deeper dive. This is where like plant medicine comes into effect. Is like when you consume like 5 grams of psilocybin mushrooms, you are going to feel terrible. You're going to feel like your stomach is turning inside out. I struggle to take shrooms like recreationally these days. My stomach just cannot handle them. But that's kind of the point. Is like it's that reaction and that defense that's causing the trip is giving you what you need. You know, it's not meant to be pleasant. So this is kind of where, you know, things have shifted for me, is that these defense mechanisms of plants, I think, are there, but they're also there to make us more resilient. You know, obviously, if you're autoimmune and you've got all of these kind of gut issues, and, you know, I'm thinking of like a Michaela Peterson of the world, then maybe stay away from plants. But I don't think, you know, you need to become this person that becomes this evangelion like protester against all plants, and assuming that we haven't evolved with these plants. And something that for me is this theory that's developing in my mind when I listen to someone like Graham Hancock from Ancient Apocalypse. In the last episode, the last season, sorry, he went to where the Easter Islands are, the Easter Island heads, and they found on those heads, they found in the soil, they found bananas, like these ancient bananas that were not from there. They were clearly cultivated there. They were brought there and farmed there. And we're talking like tens of thousands of years ago, like a long time ago. If we logically have been working with plants that long, and we've been farming with plants as long ago as that, over time, you can't assume that our bodies are not made for plants. And in some respect, you can't assume that we are just pure apex carnivores. Like, we are definitely more on the omnivorous side. And this is where things have shifted for me, is because I see still a lot of people, you know, in the animal space, in the carnivore space, basically looking at it as this like religious act, and if you're not with me, you're against me. And I think there needs to be more respect for plants. But having said that, seed oils are nowhere near natural or like a typical plant. Seed oils are literally, if you have a look at how they're made, it's disgusting. They like mutilate the seeds of the plants, and you must remember the seed is it's the beginning of life. It's the seed is the thing that needs to be protected the most. Because if you don't protect the seed, whatever, even animals, like the sperm, if it's not protected, if the seed is not protected, there is no life. And everything on Earth, as far as I understand, has this desire to reproduce so that the genes can be passed on, whether it's plants or animals or bacteria. So the seed is life. It needs to be protected the most. So the most chemicals are in the seed. This is why it's advised not to eat too many seeds, because there is a lot of phytochemicals within the seeds that can disrupt hormones, especially in humans, if you don't have the digestion for it. Seed oil is literally the oil of that seed, of all the destruction. And the way they get that oil from the seed of like sunflowers, canola oil, is by literally mutilating it and using high heat to extract the oil. It couldn't be the more unnatural. I was recently doing a film shoot in Elgin, which is an area here in Cape Town, beautiful area. There's there's canola fields there. These canola fields look incredible, like from above when they flower, yellow, and it just looks like the most amazing sight. But they are the most unnaturally planted crops in the area. There's literally no life there. There's no insects. Something they spoke about in the book as well is like the insect population. I just want to find this quote for you quickly. Here we go. About 40% of the insect population is on the decline. This is when the book was written a few years ago. That's probably more. And according to one study, the Earth may not have any insects at all by 2119. That is insane. And I saw Jeremy Clarkson as well post this video the other day, a YouTube short, on him driving down this road that he used to drive down when he was a kid. And his car used to have splatters of insects on it when he drove down this one road. He drove down and he said that there is literally not one insect on his one window. And this is what monocropping is doing. This is what these beautiful canola fields are doing. It's not the indigenous species. No insects go there because, one, it is a monocrop. There's no biodiversity. Two, they spray the living shit out of it with glyphosates, fertilizers, things to keep the insects away from eating the plants. That chemical is going into the plants. So when you get the seed oil, not only are you getting this destructive, unnatural oil, but you're also getting the chemicals from what it's being sprayed on. And it's destroying the environment. It's destroying the soil. Like, what the fuck are we doing? It makes me so like sick thinking about the realities that we live in. And you know what? I don't blame the farmer either, because I've been thinking we don't subsidize regenerative farming. Angus was telling me that he applied for Stellenbosch University to do a study there. They weren't interested. He transferred his egg business. 86% is completely owned by his staff. So 86% black owned. He literally loaned them the money to own the business so that they could somehow get government funding. Not interested. That hasn't happened. What are we doing? Where's the incentive? So I don't blame that farmer in Elgin planting those high yield canola crops so that he can actually make a living and support his family. Again, it's not his fault. It's this top heavy approach that we have to sustainability and farming and everything. And here's what I want to finish off with is that, like, reading this book is like it's like facing the truth. It's very uncomfortable, but it's needed. I love my country so much. I really do. I think we've got so much potential here. The people and the land is what makes this place special, and we need that connection again to the land, and that gives connection to the people, and then that gives connection to the spirits, and this whole cycle just is just what I envision taking place. But in order for that to happen, the broken food system needs to change. And I realize it's so complex. It's not as easy as let's all just be regenerative farmers and buy organic. And I know it's not that easy, but it has to start somewhere, even if it starts with the sacred cow and giving this animal the respect it deserves once again, and seeing where that takes us. As they say in the book, it's not the cow, it's the how. So it's how we are actually farming and how we are actually doing the things we are doing that is the problem. It's not this animal that's walked side by side with us for millions of years and in deep presence and deep respect. It's not that. Thank you for indulging me today's episode. I really appreciate you. I would love to hear in the comments. Please let me know if you've read this book. Do you resonate with it? What do you think? I would love to know. And this episode would not be possible without Readwise, my companion in making all my highlights for my Kindle and stuff. Please go to my affiliates code. I do get some commission on that, and it does help fund this channel. So it's in the description. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, Have a beautiful day further, and see you soon. Cheers.